Ben McKee, Wes Rucker, Go Vols 24/7 here inside of Thompson-Boling Arena with our full court press after Tennessee's 80-42 win over Tennessee Tech. Very much ho-hum. Offense kind of a slow start to both halves of basketball, but we're able to pick it up, especially there in the first half because of the transfers once again in Jordan Gainey and Dalton Knecht.
Yeah, I mean, they've just kind of blended seamlessly into this whole thing, right? I mean, Gainey's obviously got some family connections, so I assume he was aware with some of the stuff Tennessee's been doing. But Dalton Knecht is a guy who's just kind of airdropped in, right? He goes from JUCO to Northern Colorado to Tennessee in the SEC, and I mean, he's really, really good. He is absolutely. He's one of those rare times that you hear times in the preseason about what a guy might be, but it actually ends up being that. So many times it ends up being not quite that, but listen, there's bigger tests coming for Tennessee, but this kid's the real deal. He's very, very good and is going to make good money playing this game.
Yeah, and I thought the bigger storylines were stuff that weren't necessarily relevant to the opponent. I mean, Tennessee wins by almost 40 points and did what it was supposed to, even if it was a little ugly at times. But I think even though Tennessee has looked really good to this point, there's still going to be growing pains. Rick Barnes talked tonight about because of injuries over the summer and guys being away from the team to start preseason camp. This was the first night where everybody was together and available. And even though there's experience and even though they've looked good, there's going to be some growing pains within that.
Absolutely. I mean, you think about just adding Zakai Ziegler back into the mix. I mean, how much faster he is, than it's not like they've also had Kennedy Chandler here practicing with him. I mean, he changes the pace of the game drastically. He changes things on both ends of the floor a lot when he's out there, and in a good way. But that's an adjustment for guys, and that's just kind of a new way of as he gets his sea legs back. I mean, guys are going to have their heads on a swivel. They're going to have their spacing right because he knows where you're supposed to be. He doesn't just know where he needs to be. He knows where you need to be too, and he's going to put the ball there. I mean, he's a point guard, a real point guard. And so that kind of changes things a little bit in some ways. And you got some guys that have come in this season, some young guys, some older transfer guys. There's a lot of talent, but there's a lot of figuring out that these guys are going to have to do with each other. And I think there's going to be nights where you wonder, is this guy's game? Is this that guy's game? Because it's a good thing. It's a good problem, but it can be a problem.
Yeah, Zakai only plays 12 and a half minutes tonight. Rick said after the game that he's been doing more in practice, which I can vouch for. Just seeing a couple of practices, he is doing more in practice. And no need for him to play 20, 25, 30 minutes against a bad Tennessee
No,
Tech
Rick
team.
wanted him to, though.
Quite frankly, and he did say once the going gets tough, it's going to be hard to not have a deaf ear when the trainers and doctors are telling him, hey, maybe we should pull him out here. But also good to get Santiago Vescovi back in the mix as well. Could tell he was a little rusty after being away from the team for a week. Rick talked about that, how he was in a nice flow leaving to go back home to Uruguay to be with family. It's just a matter of him getting back out on the floor, and he'll find his rhythm.
He's going to be where he needs to be when he needs to be there.
Yep.
He absolutely knows this game. I mean, the guy is a very good player. Everyone knows that. Both ends of the floor, very crafty defensively, very, very smooth offensively. He'll be where he needs to be. I have zero concerns about that.
Absolutely. And Tennessee now has another big test on Friday night at Wisconsin. Go Vols 24/7 will be there, 9 p.m. Eastern tip-off on Peacock.
You'll be there. I'll be about 30,000 feet in the air, I think, heading to Columbia, Missouri. But you'll be there.
You will. We will be there. And it'll be another nice test for Tennessee. And I think it's comforting knowing that they're walking into what will be a lively environment after the Michigan State exhibition.
Sure. I mean, there are so many benefits to playing a game like that. I've said this a lot. I would play a game like that every single season. I would find a good cause that deserves it, and I would go play a charity game on the road at a Power 5 place, in a place that really cares about basketball and will give you a nasty road atmosphere. Getting a free hit in a situation like that, I mean, I don't know why it hadn't been done before. That's absolutely something you should do every year. There are so many benefits to it.
Yeah, and it's becoming a hot topic amongst all of college basketball coaches, not just Rick Barnes, who's been preaching that quite a bit here in the preseason. We will have plenty of coverage of tonight's win over Tennessee Tech up at Go Vols 24/7, and plenty of coverage throughout the week as Tennessee builds up to its road trip to Wisconsin on Friday night. He's Wes Rucker. I'm Ben McKee.